Color Factory paint is going to be probably like the cheapest paint you can get. The brush comes with it. Take your sticker off. And then it starts out a little dry, as you can see, for those of you who've never used watercolor paint. And if you're really, really, really ghetto, to mix your watercolor paint with said product, lick it a little bit for a second, decide what it is you're going to be using, and then you dip it into the Vaseline, and it'll turn it into creamy colored stuff. So like I'm dipping into the Vaseline, palette, creamy stuff. This is Ghetto Face Paint 101. If you need other stuff, then you can look it up on YouTube, because this is where I got this idea from. And this works out. It's a little bit of a slower process. So if you want to make this go a little bit faster, I suggest you actually get water, but the oil does work too. I'm just kind of beating it up a little bit so that way I can, activate the color. This will help your skin stay shiny and pretty. This is what females do. Now, I will retrieve the water because 'tis a video. I'm being recorded. It needs to look a little bit better. So we have our water, and this could get special very shortly. I'm taking my palette, and we're going to be using the green and the black, and we're going to do leaves. If you need to test it, mark up your papers nearby. In my case, it is the face paint stuff. And then putting a little bit more of this brush stuff onto the face paint. See, add some shininess. And then we're gonna go up, out. And it's gonna take a few coats, because I will stress to you, it looks rough the first time. So, don't freak out. It takes about 3 coats per leaf. And if you get higher quality white paint, it'll probably take less. And the idea is that we're probably gonna maybe do some sort of rose thing down here, because I have red, purple, blue, and orange. So we're gonna go down and out. No, I am not an artist, as you can see, but you'll get the idea as we keep going. So, when in doubt, and you see people looking at you funny, smile at them, because they're probably jealous that they didn't get the idea. Especially if you're one of those kids who is the only kid in school who dresses up for Halloween. If you were like me, That's how it was. You could show up to school in your little Spartan costume or whatever silliness it is that you have in mind and be freaking happy about it. Why? Because the other kids didn't think about wearing Spartan costume to school on Halloween. That's why. So we have little leaves going here. Mark up your paper. Keep going on your leaves. This is not the finest brush in the land, let's just say that. And we're cutting it pretty close here because I have to be at class in 3 hours. And between the time it's going to take me to mess with this a little bit more, and then we're cutting it close. Okay. So for those of you who want a little bit more, obviously we're not done. We are going to take purple, okay? We're going to take the purple here and the blue, and this is going to get funny. And if you change your mind, that's why we have multiple colors. So you don't have to necessarily use the colors I'm using. Now, there are several types of flowers you can do. I'm probably going to go for more of a chrysanthemum style, which is different from a daisy because it looks more like a pom-pom with frills. And let's see here. There's a little bit of white in there, so we'll do that later. If you are lost, bear in mind this is a 2-part costume, so you can sit there and make sure your skin is absolutely fabulous on the other side, because it's basically a pinup girl on the other side. So you want to make sure you have a lot of base on the other side, because the pinup girls were known for looking fantabulous. I know I normally do my politics rants on my other version of the show, but it is Halloween. I'm sure some of you are young libertarians and Republicans, but that's fine. You could do the costume just the same. Use more red if you like. I don't care. This year is going to be the Sugar Skull Day. I thought about going out, but I'm actually working. So, but the kids I babysit will have a grand old time with this. It'll be fun. So right now I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me. So for some of you who are different colors of skin, which is a lot, we're going to make sure that you get your right code. You can take a picture of yourself and send it to Maybelline. They could actually give you your code if you really are antsy about it. Or go to a makeup store and they'll be able to style you with one. So this is also, so that way when I'm looking into the camera, I don't look as bad because I don't look as exhausted. Now, cannot stress this to you enough. Mascara, mascara, mascara. Because if you're a girl, you want the eye part to stand out because that's the primary function. I am genuinely making this up as I go. So, because I cannot find my original sketches, and I'm not going to waste time on the video trying to find them. So that's alright. So what you can do to quickly solve this problem is Google Mexican sugar skull and look at your ideas that will be presented for you. So we're going to be doing a little flower type motif here shortly. I hope you have a steady hand as you do this, because you kind of want them to look as close together as you can. So we're making little flower petals, and it doesn't really matter how pretty they look because they'll be colored in, and everything looks better with color. Okay guys, you know this. And I figure in light of recent tragic events on the East Coast, we need something fun to do, like dress up as sugar skulls. Because there are kids right now whose houses are underwater. We need to make them have a little bit of fun. So we're going to do sugar skulls. This is also kind of fun if you're doing like some sort of event, like a birthday party or something, and you just want the kids to have some sort of silly outfit. That works out too. And for those of you who are wondering, how on earth do you wash all that off? Very simple. It comes off pretty easily with water and friction. Almost done here. Part of me doing only one side is because I have uneven eyesight, or what's called amblyopia. So I probably wouldn't be able to recreate it on the other side anyway. And if you're like me, you mark your hands up a lot to clean off your stuff because you're ghetto, like me. Go over it with your marker to double check that your lines are where you want them to be. And then it's color time. So we'll probably be going with the orange. Say orange. And if you want to, there's a sponge applicator on here. I use this more for the lines. But we have the sponge applicator on one side that'll be used for orange. Try not to mix your colors that much, otherwise you will look like a muddy mess. This will be fast forwarded in the YouTube version. I'm not even sure if I'll be using all the audio. It's coming together though. So this is kind of a tedious part. So feel free to sit there and contemplate the wonders of life or something. We're doing a much more feminine, romanticized version. The wonderful thing about the sugar skull idea is that everybody can do it different. So if you have a cajillion children, they could all go as different sugar skulls without wasting too much time. And we'll see it's starting to come along, starting to have a little flower effect. If you don't like it, just go over it with a different color, or wipe your whole face off and start over. I wouldn't do that because then you wouldn't have as much product to work with the second time around. The only thing I stress is that you're careful with touching your face throughout the night because this is creamy. This is kind of a gel consistency. So this could get really special really quickly. So that's the first coat. Give that a second. And if you're impatient, which many of us are, you can take itty bitty eye brush, okay, and kind of get in there for your second coat so that way it looks a little bit nicer. Because I know some of you guys who are looking at these super fancy HD makeup tutorials probably thinking, man, you suck. Part of that is because this is the cheapo version. And it's a recession. We're all about being cheap. Okay. I don't have as much of this black stuff, so we're going to keep that in mind. And I also have liquid liner, which is really, really helpful if you're trying to make more lines on your face. Okay. And what's best that I do is take out everything because you never know what you might need. So we have our stem thing going. And then we're going to get to our chin flower that'll be right here. The chin flower will be what color? Let's contemplate this. The chin flower will probably be some sort of version of purple and blue. So activate our purple, which I have the purple right there. Needs water on it for it to even work. For those of you who've never done rainbow cakes, there are tutorials available. Feel free to check your related links. That's where they might be. And I put kind of a lot of water in here because I'm trying to stir it up a lot and I'm trying to activate the paint. If you're just painting with watercolors, you obviously might want to use a little bit less water. But for this particular little exercise, we want a lot of water because we're going to use some Vaseline to give it a little bit more of a thickness. And it's kind of like the tutorial that describes how to make your own lipstick. Okay, so we're going to start right here. Okay. And you're going to kind of think fleur de lis, the flowers you might see on a Catholic church. We're going to span this out like in 4 different directions. Since it's cut in half, we're going to be doing this more like split in 2. But you're going to keep doing this until it's as big as you want it to be. If you really want to get technical, you can do it like that. So we're starting out. So this is water paint. It's not toxic. This is children friendly, baby friendly, whatever. You can use it for a lot of different stuff. This is the different version of eco-friendly. This is economy friendly. I get my stage makeup from eBay sellers. Fish around, try and buy within the US, just saying. And all will be well. I'm going to try and do multiple shades here because I'm a big kid and I can do that. But if you have little children, you might want to keep the flower to one color so it's faster because children move too much. So this is going to be kind of a Democrat blue. You kind of start standing this out a little bit. Be careful not to be too rough because you might take off your white, and we don't want that to happen. This is why I say use a whole tube, because when you'll need the extra will save your life. Or at least your costume. So we're spanning this out a little bit. And then we can start mixing the water back into the purple because that starts to dry up, because this is cheaper paint, so it'll dry up faster. But feel free, obviously, to use more pricey stuff. I've pretty much decided to make a larger flower. And we're going to keep this going. And you want to use multiple colors because it makes it look more intricate and more interesting. But try and keep the same picture in your head because you will confuse yourself. As far as brush techniques, I like doing the blotting most of the time, but sometimes stroke is all you need. Okay, so this is purple with a little bit of blue for an accent. This is also a good time to think about doing your green over. If you can't come up with any more ideas, this is always a good backup costume because there's no special clothing required. You can just wear whatever it is you have. In my case, I'm going to be wearing a belly dancing skirt that'll be purple and likely some other stuff. So I'm going to keep going. At this point, I'm using some green right now. The lighter green of the two. Okay, it's right here. There's a Ninja Turtle-y green, and there's this green. We're going to use the lighter green because that's a little bit more visible. I guess you might want to use that term. So keep going, stirring, stirring, stirring. If you bake like I do, you can just stir really quickly without much issue. But you want enough water to activate the paint, but not so much that it's chunky. So mine's kind of creamy at the moment. And you want to do it quickly because the watercolor needs to be activated more often than the green paint does. For those of you who haven't voted yet, I encourage you to do so. Let's just throw that in there because that's really important. We're just about done with the leaves. Okay. And if you want, you could also get some stuff going up here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that because it's really, really, really time consuming. And the man will be home soon, so we want to surprise him. Okay, so the flowers started to dry a little bit. So this is the point when you get to add more. I'm going to use a little bit of pink. It's kind of a bunny ear pink. You want to test it out on a piece of paper before you put it on your face so you can get a good idea of what it's going to look like. Also, keep washing your brush because especially with these lighter colors, you don't want them to be mixed with, say, your green or purple. Okay. Okay, so now we have our pink petals. Okay. Feel free to mix this with other stuff. Some people might use acrylic. Acrylic has a little bit more chemical in it, so you might want to be careful with that. So occasionally be dipping your brush in here so that way you can maintain the color. Okay. Yeah. So let's bring the camera up here. As you can see, this is coming along. Obviously, this is not the final look, but if you're meticulous, like I am, you're going to keep adding multiple colors, because this is going to be rainbow flowery on the bottom. This is the purple from the face paint palette. And I'm going to put purple paint over this. Because we want it bright. I started to put some Latin music on, but Apparently, it's trademarked. Okay. So I can't stress it enough. Blend, blend, blend. Because it'll look chunky if you don't. And you can add a large leaf if you like, because it is a flower, so that's important. Okay. Nice thing is that when you add it only on the sides like that, you can still expand your flower if you really, really, really want to. Like I said, this is a creative process. It is expanding as we go. So we are going to add a little bit more of the orange to the flower petals on the eye, because they've been sitting on there long enough to get more. The whole process should take about an hour to an hour and a half from clean face to Mexican sugar skull face. Popped off. So then we're gonna take a small amount of this lipstick and touch it up with this, because it's kind of like a brush. Okay. If you want more information on how to keep doing this, I'll post a link on the Facebook page, or YouTube rather, so you can find out more about technique, because I'm going through this fairly quickly and I can see where someone might get a little confused. So the more black you add on the outside, the more defined your petals will be, and the more likely you don't get people saying, hey, what are you dressed as? And you could tell them, I am a sugar skull, because I'm awesome like that. Chances are they'll be so confused they won't really think about it anymore. And then when you're done going over the black again, you can go more orange. Okay? Okay. Yeah, let's come along. And we do a little bit more on the petals because mine in particular at the moment are not fully defined. If you want, you can use crazy eyelashes since we are approaching the end of the process. Okay. Yeah. And hopefully your parents don't get mad at you because you'll be jacking a lot of makeup for this. We will cover up the end, if I could find the cap, the elusive cap. There's the cap. Cover that back up. Alright. And now we've approached the point where you can start adding more stuff. Okay. Let's take a gander here. I'm going to get into the blue a little bit. Okay. We're going to add some blue. Just because we can. That and you buy a lot of makeup for a reason, because you're going to wear a lot of makeup. I'm going to be asking some of my Hispanic followers to tell me how good or bad this was. Because I have a feeling it'd be a scale 1 to 10, probably like a 5.5 or a 6. Isn't super fantastic, but it's better than most. At least in Vegas. Even though we're a town of performers, a lot of people have no idea how to do this. Okay. Mark your paper a little bit. Survey your processes. And let's see what else we have to do. We have to add a little bit of orange from the watercolor to make the orange brighter because I'm not pleased with it yet. It is about half the brightness I want. And as you can tell, yes, abide with, I am looking for Forward to the President coming to town. This is the tedious part. Adding more detail to stuff. Okay. If you need to adjust any colors as far as your face, eyebrow area, those can be fairly easily fixed. Because I got a little bit in my eyebrow. just comb, take an eyebrow comb, and comb the paint through the eyebrow so that way the paint doesn't get in the way. But Vaseline comes in handy as well, because I did Vaseline my eyebrows a little bit. Obviously, the more Vaseline you put, the better, but pretty much just need enough to slick down your eyebrows. And we're getting close. I'm going to class because I'm babysitting, and these little children will think it's funny because I'm a great person like that. It is Vegas, so all the fun stuff is for the 21 and up people. And for us lowly under 21 types, we have to find other means of entertainment. Because the strip probably ain't it. Okay? Yeah. So this is about 75% done. I'm probably going to add more purple to the flower because it's starting to bug me. Let's see what else we got here. We have multiple colors because I might be doing a flower on the top as well. Yeah. I'm a jack of many trades. I'm a babysitter, I'm a personal assistant, I'm a lot of things. It is Vegas. Chances are you can't make money doing one particular thing. You're going to end up doing 5 or 6 other things. Because I'm being recorded, I don't really feel too keen on talking to some of the people in my stick in room and reading their messages, but I am not responding. Okay. So we are going to keep this going. Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. Text in. Okay. The other side is not going to be as difficult to do. This is mostly what we're doing here. Now it's time for the little red heart that we're probably going to do. So you get your red stirred up, activated, do your thing. Okay. So our red, I think we're just going to do a red flower up here. Okay. The more stuff you have on, it's kind of like tattoos. The more stuff you have on your sleeve, the better it looks, right? So we're going to be adding this flower up here, which is supposed to be red, but due to mixing with the white, it's going to look a little pink. Also, I'm going to be adding some leaves and stuff momentarily. No, I am not Mexican. I just like the holiday. And no, I honestly don't know that much about it. All I know is that there's face paint involved. So for those of you who are Mexican, I appreciate your holiday because it's a lot of fun. Yeah, this is getting there. And then I am fanning my face because this is wet and I don't want to mix anything yet. So we're going to add some of this green here. Okay, but my water's coming out purple. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Okay. We're getting there. Yeah, we're adding the bottom leaf at the moment. This is why I'm trying not to talk. Okay. My face paint is almost out of green, so we're going to move on to some watercolor. Probably going to add a little bit of blue. Because the idea is that there's as much color involved as you can get. I'm dipping my makeup brush in here now because I want more blue and I need more at a time. The more colors we get going, the more space you take up on your face, the better. Yeah, like I said, this is the tedious part, so don't get mad at me if I become more boring to watch. Okay. My man is on his way home, so if the video stops randomly, that's why. I am a part-time gal on all of my trades. I'm a part-time babysitter, part-time assistant, part-time everything. But it's not a huge profit going when all of the things you do are periodical and are based off of what people want. Okay. Losing the black lip thing. Okay. This is where you get to do the black lip liner look, because we're aesthetic. At least today. Today, we are sugar skulls. Okay. Add a touch of this red here. Now, since I've never face tan on my lips, I'm not positive how long this will last, so I'll probably just keep this in my purse throughout the night. For the sake of touch-ups. And when I'm done with the video, I will take pictures, obviously, of the more cleaned up version, because I'm not gonna have time right now to go over the cleaning part. Let's see. Okay. Get in your teeth a little bit. Trick. If you don't want whatever face makeup you have on your lips to get in your face, or in your teeth rather, you would wipe it on your finger with the inside of your mouth. Yeah, and then clean your teeth off, obviously after the video, and you should be okay. All right. Okay. So, get a little bit more green for the upper flower, which I think seemed to turn out a little bit better than the lower flower. Okay. I'm sure that the colors and all that have some sort of significance amongst Hispanic folk, but since presently I can't think of it, I suggest you go Google that. Because I can't tell you right now. Okay. And we're gonna get some more red. The red should help out. I'm not doing my ear, that just sounds very strange. Makeup on one's ear. So I've seen some people who take it to their arms and get a little over involved, but it's not going to be this female. Okay. Then we will advance to the yellow center of the flower. Okay. We're activating the yellow at the moment because we can. We're going to do the center of the flower. We're just about done here. Okay. I'm going to be doing the center of the flower in a yellow and orange mixture. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow underneath the orange to make it a little bit brighter. Okay. Just about done here. Okay. As you can see, my hands become a palette. Now, and we're just about done with this. Really not much to do once you get this far along. Okay, so that is the bulk of it. I will adjust things that I need to as I go throughout the day. But I think we're just about done because most people know how to do the other side. The yellow is not being very agreeable at the moment, so this is why I added the orange. Adding as much yellow as I can, really, because it's gonna mix with the red. And my skin has the white, so yeah. And then I have red lipstick that I'll just put on and I'll show you guys in the pictures. Okay. What else do we need, guys? I think we're good on watercolors. We shall move on to the other side of the face. Already has foundation on this side, so don't freak out. Okay. It's not meant to be super fancy on the top. We're basically doing skin colors and gold with some thick black liner. Because for this side of the face, that's really all you need. So the other side of the face is supposed to be pretty and more simple. Okay. Alright. Ah! Dropped it. You can go a little crazy with your bronzer and whatever else you can think of on the other side because there's not going to be as much